एष देवो विश्वकर्मा महात्मा सदा जनानां हृदये सन्निविष्टः. See, finally what Yamaraja will say is that whatever is now, whatever you are, when the body falls also, you remain that only. Whatever is here, that itself is there in the other world. The body falls, that's all. But that does not mean that the individuality will be carried with that. You will become whatever you are the universal Atma. But to know what you are, you have to know it when the body is there, because the knowledge will be established in the body, in the intelligence. So you have to have this realization when the body is there. You have to know that I am immortal, I am not touched by the body, mind, personality. Then when the body falls, you get merged into the sea of consciousness, if it is to be expressed like that, it is beyond that also. Yathodakam shuddhe shuddham asiktam tadrigeva bhavati evam muner vijanata atma bhavati gautama. This is from the almost end of Kathopanishad, towards the end. That like pure water poured into a lake of pure water, after it has been poured, do you know where the water has gone? It has mixed with the lake. Like that, vijanatah muneha atma, one who has known the Atma, for him that his Atma gets poured into the universal Atma. There is no, you cannot trace that this is my Atma, this is another's Atma, like that. The Atma is one and transcendental. I would like you to chant some particular verses. Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye.
Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye.
Astityeke nayamastiti chaike.
Astityeke nayamastiti chaike.
Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham.
Etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham.
Varanamesha varastritiyah.
Varanamesha varastritiyah.
This is Nachiketa's question. Then 26th verse, again Nachiketa's statement in reply to Yama's offerings. 26th verse number, same chapter. Shvobhavaamatyasya yadantakaitat.
Shvobhavamartyasya yadantakaitat.
Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha.
Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha.
Api sarvam jivitamalpameva.
Api sarvam jivitamalpameva.
Tavaiva vahastava nritya gite.
Tavaiva vahastava nritya gite.
So here, as we were following the sadhana chatushtaya, the fourfold requisite qualities of a seeker, in this question, the final question, the third vara, it proves the last of the sadhana chatushtaya, the mumukshutva. I think you remember viveka, vairagya, shamadamadi shatka sampatti and mumuksha. Mumuksha, why here? Because we are, as I said earlier also, we are generally born with an insufficiency in us. Abhava bodha. In Sanskrit we call it abhava bodha. Insufficiency in our heart. That is why we look for some external gain by which we will become happy. We think that we will become happy. So we run after things, one after another, thinking that I will become happy. It is because of that abhava bodha in us, that insufficiency in us. When we become vivekin, that is, we encourage our viveka buddhi, apply our viveka buddhi, and look at the world, come to know that nowhere anybody has become permanently fulfilled or fulfilled by gaining anything from the external world. Not only now, you look back, as Nachiketa said that Anupashya yatha purve. If you look back thousands and thousands years ago, the whole eternity, nobody has ever become fulfilled by gaining anything external. If anybody has become fulfilled, it is not by the external gain, it is from internal. So we understand, when we look around we understand, but still we remain deluded, we still run after the external things, but we never get fulfilled. Although there is a cry within that our soul is always crying, like mother, that come back, but we don't heed because of the tendency to run after things and gaining. Now this is what is called kama or desire. You should understand that we have to understand all these concepts in a practical sense. This is what is called kama, that trying to fulfill the insufficiency or abhava bodha in us by some external gain. Now when we understand the fallacy of it, that we are never going to be satisfied by anything external, then we look within to find out that where lies the fulfillment then. That is called mumuksha. Are you able to follow? That is the mumukshutva or mumuksha. So Nachiketa has proven that anything from outside, not only in this world, other world also. Why it was necessary? Because our Vedic concepts are about this world, about other world also. To make people, I have discussed enough that to keep the society bridled and make people disciplined, they are conceiving of what happens after the body falls. So they reserve sukha in the next life also, but that also is not going to fulfill. So Nachiketa was given all the gains one can think of this in this world, and finally the last shloka, ye kama durlabha matyaloke, there he said that these are not available in this, these are only in the heaven. That also was given. And Nachiketa rejected all that. No, I don't want that. I want to know what is in us. Is it something transcending the causal universe, or is it not? It is there or not? So he has proven his last requisite quality of mumuksha or mumukshutva by rejecting everything external and asking Yamaraja that I stick to my third boon. I want to know what happens when the body falls. That means, is there any reality transcending our body-mind personality? That is his question, that what is the transcendental reality? So we go to the next chapter. Anyat shreyo anyadutaiva preyaha.
Anyat shreyo anyadutaiva preyaha.
Anyat shreyo anyadutaiva preyaha.
Anyat shreyo anyadutaiva preyaha.
Te ubhe nanarthe purusham sinitaha.
Te ubhe nanarthe purusham sinitaha.
Tayo shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati.
Tayoh shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati.
Hiyate arthad yayupreyo vrinite.
Hriyate arthadya upreyo vrinite.
He says anyat shreyaha, it becomes anyat shreyaha. Then the visarga gets dropped and it becomes okara. Anyat shreyaha, anyat uta eva preyaha. Te ubhe nanarthe nana arthe purusham sinitaha. Tayoh shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati. Hiyate arthat ya upreyo vrinite. Here they have introduced the concept of shreyas and preyas. Shreyas is the ultimate auspicious goal in human life. Sometimes you will find the word nishreyas also, nishreyasa, which means the liberation or moksha or whatever. So Shreya and Nishreyasa are same, but Nishreyasa is used in that ultimate sense, in the Parakashta sense, whereas Shreyas is whenever we are opting for the auspicious path, it is the Shreyas. And Preyas is immediately pleasurable, but it will take us away from the auspicious path. That is what he is saying. Anyat Shreyaha, Anyad Utaiva Preyaha. The two are different. Shreyas and Preyas are different. Te ubhe nana arthe purusham sinitaha. They bind us for two different purposes. The goal of the two are different. Tayoho, of the two, Shreya adadanasya sadhu bhavati. One who always chooses the Shreyas, for him auspiciousness results. Sadhu means auspiciousness comes. Hiyate arthat yayu preyo vrinite. On the other hand, one who always chooses the prayers which is immediately pleasurable to the senses, he comes away from the Purushartha. Arthat means here is the ultimate Purushartha. We have 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The ultimate Purushartha is Moksha, as I have explained Moksha just now. Don't have any misunderstanding about it. Moksha means that getting back to our real identity, so that all the bondages, all the constrictions we are suffering from, we are relieved of that. Then he goes on to the next verse. We go on to the next verse. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametaha tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha.
तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः
श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते.
श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते.
प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमात् वृणीते.
प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमाद् वृणीते.
Once more. श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः.
श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः.
तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः.
तौ सम्परीत्य विविनक्ति धीरः.
श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते.
श्रेयो हि धीरोऽभिप्रेयसो वृणीते.
प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमाद् वृणीते.
प्रेयो मन्दो योगक्षेमाद् वृणीते.
Now here they have introduced 2 more concepts, dhiraha and mandaha. Shreyas and preyas they are already there. He says shreyascha preyascha manushyam etaha. That is, always in life the shreyas and preyas are coming before us. That is, we have to make the choice. That is, the nature is coming with 2 baskets in hand, in which Shreyas is there and Preyas is there. We have to make the choice. Why I am emphasizing this, we have to make the choice? Because it is our self-will. It is our self-effort. Don't say that it is fate, so I don't. When God wills, then only I will select for Shreyas. Now God wills me to select Preyas. It is not God's will. It is our own will. So Upanishad is completely making us responsible for whatever is happening in our life. We cannot leave it to fate or providence or anything. Providence is there, but in our life we have to make the choice for the Shreyas and Preyas. Whether we will choose Shreyas and Preyas, it depends exclusively on us. In which he says there are people called Dhiraha. That is, Dhiraha, generally you can say who has the Viveka Buddhi prominent. That is, who is guided by the Viveka Buddhi. Viveka Buddhi, I said, which is anchored to our real identity, which is our inner voice. That is the Viveka Buddhi, which will always discriminate between what is the auspicious and what is inauspicious. Such people, that Vivekins, are called Dhiraha. Tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. Said that whenever a situation has come, those who are dhiraha, they samparitya means samyak paritya. They investigate all around the situation, pros and cons, everything they investigate very well. Samyak paritya, samparitya. Very well there. And not only going around and seeing, vivinakti means distinguishing, and in the cut and dry method, distinguishing, dissecting and looking inside what is therein, what can happen, what are the results of what we are going to do. Any situation, they look into the pros and cons and future and past, and also into it they distinguish, discriminate very well. Shreyo hi dhiro vi preyaso vrinite. Dhiraha, they, after analyzing the situation, the where lies preyas and where lies shreyas, they choose the shreyas. That is the dhira's quality. Whereas preyo mando yoga kshemad vrinite. The mandaha is the opposite of the dhiraha. Those who are ignorant, those who are not applying their viveka buddhi. Mandaha does not mean that they don't have viveka buddhi, but they are not applying their viveka buddhi. They remain deluded with the prayers. And why do they always choose for prayers? Yoga kshemat. Their mind is always on possessiveness. Kshema means whatever I have to protect it, and yoga means to add to that. That is, whatever we have we don't want to lose, we possess that, and still further we want to add to that. That is the Yogakshema here. Yogakshema can be applied in another sense also. Here this is the meaning. That means their mind is always on the possessiveness. They want to possess more and more, and for that they always look for prayers which will give us more luxury, which will give us more fame, which will give us more of appreciation from everybody. It can be in subtle sense, gross sense. Even in the ashram life also, we have always to be careful about this. Say, we might have renounced all the worldly attractions, repulsions, and renounce and go to the ashram. There also we may look for small appreciation from people, or appreciation from the guru. Those are also looking for anything, small things, is prayers. They are all short-lived. We are not looking for, our mind has to be fixed on the shreyas. When we are going to the ashram also, renouncing also, the mind has to be fixed on the shreyas. But it is not so generally. We pick up small things, even about food, about work, that I am doing all the work, others are not doing. All kinds of mental suffering will be there for a renunciate also. So this choice is not only for the people in the world. The ashram is not out of the world. It's a big world. There also it will be there. So this dhiraha, I would like to go into the etymology of the word. The etymology means the vyutpatti in Sanskrit. It has got two vyutpattis, two etymological definitions according to Shabdakalpadruma. That one is that dhiyam irayati iti dhiraha. Dhiraha, the word has come from dhiyam irayati iti dhiraha. Irayati means churning. We churn the buttermilk like that, moving, churning. Dhiyam means the buddhi, the one who is keeping always his buddhi active. Most of us, we are always as much we are physically inactive or idle, much more than that intelligently we are idle. Is it not? So you look into the whole day in 18 hours, how much of buddhi remains generally idle. The body is not so idle. So dhyam irayati means he keeps his buddhi always active. He is always alert about the situation. He is apramatta, another word is used, that inattention is not there. That means buddhi is always alert by doing this, what will happen, every situation they will always analyze, automatically it will go on happening. Now if it is only activating the buddhi, then it does not mean the whole thing, because the buddhi is very active for the thief, dacoits also, particularly the thieves also. How to break the bank and get the money, they are always thinking how to pickpocket or so. Their buddhi is very active. But it works not for the auspicious end. It finally puts him into trouble. So the second etymology is dhiyam rati iti dhiraha. So two together actually gives the meaning here. Dhiyam irayati iti dhiraha. And dhiyam rati. Rati means one whose buddhi is working friendly to him. That the buddhi is always working and working in a friendly manner. It is always looking for good, for auspicious. Such a person is dhiraha. Easily we can say that, for keeping in mind, it means a viveka buddhi is always active. Such a person is called dhiraha. Often this word is used for a knower also. So he will always go into the situation, analyze it very well, and find out where lies Shreyas and where lies Preyas. He will select for the Shreyas, whereas the other person will select for the Preyas. Now, people may ask that, how do you know where lies the Shreyas? Viveka Buddhi, but we may not know that is it my Viveka Buddhi or is it my desire is working. Suppose you are on a crossroad and you have to make a selection which way to go. There is a thumb rule that we should look within. All these selections everywhere, we have to look into our mind. We should look within and find out that my selection, that it is a thought experiment. Suppose the option A and B is there. If I select A, then am I feeling expanded or contracted? Am I feeling expanded or small? Am I feeling that internal strength is increasing? I am feeling very stable, or I am feeling weak? Am I feeling light in the mind by the selection, or I am feeling heavy? These are the options, these are the possibilities. So wherever we feel expanded, light and strengthened within, that is the selection of the auspicious path. Because we are all our real identity. We cannot say that we don't know. That inner voice is always coming from the Atma, that which is always going for love, embracing the whole world, compassion. All those good qualities are right there in us. And the inner voice is always telling us that, oh, you are telling lie, you are trying to hide it. Always the inner voice is there. We don't heed the inner voice because of our slavery to the objective situation. Suppose we want to avoid where we will be punished, or we will have some loss or suffering or so. We want to avoid that. For that we make the wrong choice. Wrong choice means prayer's choice. But from within it is always telling us which is right and which is wrong. It is for us to heed that. If we look within, always we will be able to find out which is the Shreyas choice and which is the Preyas choice. By looking within, which gives the mind an expansion, free of heaviness, that is lightness, and a strength, inner strength. Not strength from outward we may lose strength. We may have to fight people, for that we might be penalized also. Sometimes when we take to some movement and all, there is lot of threat. People send threatening letters. Sometimes the gundas will come and terrify us also. In an ashram, we are staying, so many women are there, young girls are there. We might have lot of fear about it, but we have to take the step sometime, where we have to go against the wrongdoers. For example, there we have to fight often against the hill cutting and earth mafia, we call. Most of the hills are cut off and sold. So for that we put up a case. Finally the case went to the High Court. We won the case also. But even now also they want to go on cutting. So we have to call the police. We have to go to the collector office and fight it out. They will be always, sometimes they will intrude into the ashram and start threatening. All these things. But whenever we are doing it, foregoing our selfishness, that it is good for the society, and we are not thinking bad about the people who are doing. Whenever they are coming, we are trying to put some good sense in them. That the people stay on earth not to flatten the earth by removing all the hills and making your building there. Where there is a hilly area, you have to make the buildings step by step. Everywhere you go in the Himalayas or wherever there is a little hill, Nilgiris or wherever, it is always people have constructed step by step. You can terrace it for cultivation. But you cannot just think of removing the hill and making your house there. It is not good for you also. It is the earth will take revenge of it someday. And the way they cut, just on two sides of our ashram, there is more than 40 feet cut almost vertically, 70-degree angle. Any time the landslide may happen. If it rains like that as it is happening in Chennai now, landslide may come, and the people who have made their houses after cutting the hill, they will be the first people to get destroyed also. We may also get destroyed. that is okay. But this is what it is. So the choice has to be made from the inner voice, that according to the inner voice. We may not be always able to do something for the society like this. Our powers are restricted, but some choice we have to make from there. In the case I am talking about the hill cutting and all. Always we cannot fight. We have our work also. So the choice can be made heeding our inner voice. That is what we are saying. So Shreyas and Preyas, that Viveka, voice of Viveka can always be understood. Sattvam priyan priyarupamscha kaman
Sattvam priyan priyarupamscha kaman
abhidhyayan nachiketotyasrakshihi
Abhidhyayan nachiketotyasrakshihi
naitam srinkam vittamayim avapto
Naitam srinkam vittamayim avapto
yasyam majjanti bahavo manushyaah.
Yasyam majjanti bahavo manushyaah.
From this shloka onward, this mantra onwards, you will find that Yama is praising Nachiketa. All the shlokas are praising. This praising is important because whenever the teacher praises the disciple, actually he praises the qualities of the disciple. And by the praise, that quality should grow. That whenever teacher is praising the disciple for a particular quality, it is not for the disciple to immediately get elated that, oh, I am the best person, Guru has praised me. That is the wrong way. Then you will not have the quality enhanced. It is for you to know that this is a quality I must still cultivate more and enhance. That is, whenever he is praising certain qualities, it is to say that these qualities are the proper qualities for a seeker and I must cultivate them more. Similarly, whenever Guru does ninda, ninda means he reprimands, not reprimand, but what is the word we can use? Corrects the disciple. It is only to mean that these qualities are bad qualities, adverse qualities have to be eliminated. It is not condemning the disciple or criticizing the disciple or hating the disciple. There is no intolerance or hatred there. It is only to mean that these qualities are bad for a seeker and they have to be eliminated. Now here Yamaraja is now praising one after another Nachiketa, because whatever he has proven, those qualities he is praising. He says, O Nachiketa, Sattvam priyan priya rupamscha kaman abhidhyayan atyasrakshihi. Atyasrakshihi means you have outright rejected. Atyasrakshihi. Why? Sattvam priyan priya rupamscha kaman. Whatever I had given you, some are priya and some are priya rupa. Priya means whatever belongs to us, that becomes our favorite. Our children, our property, our kingdom, those are all priya for us. For any king, the kingdom will be priya. So he had given Nachiketa, the emperor of this and that, all those things are there. And priya rupam means those which are not directly related. For example, he brought the apsaras and all those things, apsaras, dance users, musicians. So they are all good looking and performing well, they are attractive, but there is no mamatva there. Do you understand the two differences? So both he is saying, those who are priya because of the mamatva, because they belong to you, they are priya. And priya rupa means they may not belong to you or anything, but as such they are attractive. See how discriminative the Upanishad is. Sattvam priyan priya rupamscha kaman. All these desired things, whatever people are looking for. Abhidhyayan atyasrakshihi. You have gone into it. Abhidhyayan means you have meditated into it, you have gone into it, investigated into it, that there is nothing for me to gain from there. It's all outer glory and glamour. And you have rejected everything. Naitam srinkam vittamayim avapto. This you should remember in 1.1.16, that 16th verse, where as an extra boon he said that this Agni Vidya will be known by your name, and also he gave him a mala. There he has said that malam srinkam aneka rupam grihanam. Aneka rupam word he used. Here he is saying vittamayim. That is why there itself I said that it's a powerful mala which has various, it can appear as various things. It has a mystic power in it. So I had given you that Srinka, that mala, which has great power, special power, vibhuti, but you have not accepted that also, because that is also for material, something material gain, magical power. So yesterday somebody was telling me that is it not right to show some magic initially, so that he was telling that nobody comes to listen to you here and nobody visits our CIRD. So is it not better to put something attractive like magic and all, or whatever way, which is attractive, which people will be attracted, then you give them the truth. And it cannot happen, it doesn't work, because those who are coming by some magical something or anything that is attractive, they will never go for the truth, because they want something to happen from the sky. Whereas this truth is exclusively depending on sadhana. Those who are not ready to do the sadhana, even if for knowledge also they will move from guru to guru, guru to guru, because they think that this guru will be able to give me something. Then after some time they will see another guru, they will say, this guru will be able to give me something. So they want something to come from the guru. For that guru is giving some sadhana, that they are not doing. That they will not do. Do you understand how we are deluded by our own, that we are looking for something to happen from the sky or from the guru? Both are same. So you have rejected that also. So rejecting any vibhuti is an essential quality of a seeker. When we reject the whole external world and start our internal sadhana, lot of vibhutis will come. The indriyas become, in Bhagavad Gita it is there, that prakash sarvadvareshu prakasha upajayate. Sarvadvareshu means in all the sense organs a brilliance comes. That means they develop special power to understand the minds of the people, understand various other things. All those vibhutis may come, various other things may come. But he has to very clearly keep away from all that. He may see that, well, this is there, oh acha, this is also there. He has to understand that all these are possible in the world of spirituality. But if we get attracted by anything, even the blissfulness in meditation, if the sadhak gets attracted by the blissfulness in meditation, every day in meditation he will only look for the bliss. So he will not be able to cross over that, and non-dual position he will not be able to attain, because every day he will not get. So again, like the worldly suffering, he will have suffering 3 days, 4 days, oh to nahi aa raha, anand nahi mil raha, anand mil raha, nahi mil raha. 1 महीना कोशिश कर सकते हैं, उसके बाद छोड़ दिया मेडिटेशन में बैठना. बट द पर्पस ऑफ मेडिटेशन इज नॉट ब्लिस. व्हाई डोंट यू आस्क योर गुरु? You have given me initiation, you have asked me to do meditation only to get joy or something else. That has to be understood. No? Nobody will ask. Initially they will get some joy, they will pursue. When they don't get the joy, they stop finally. See how we are deluded. Even in the sadhak also, in sadhana also, we get deluded like that. So it is extremely important to not to get attracted by any vibhuti. One who is on this path, that is why this path is extremely rare. People are not able to walk on this path. That is why yesterday I said, razor's edge. The kshurasya dhara nishita duratyaya durgam pathastat kavayo vadanti. He says, Naitam Srinkam Vittamayim Abapto. You have rejected them, you have did not accept that powerful mala also. Yasyam Majjanti Bhavo Manushyaha. Whatever I had given you, in that all the people are getting immersed. Majjanti, that means they are immersed in all these things. They don't get, but whatever they get, they are immersed in it and they want more and more of it. But you have simply rejected everything. It is from Vairagya Shatakam. Adityasya gata gateir आदित्यस्य गतागतैरहरः संक्षीयते जीवितं व्यापारैर्बहुकार्यभारगुरुभिः कालोऽपि न ज्ञायते दृष्ट्वा जन्मजराविपत्तिमरणं त्रासश्च नोत्पद्यते पीत्वा मोहमयीं प्रमादमदिराम् उन्मत्तभूतं जगत्. Here he is saying, पीत्वा मोहमयीं प्रमादमदिरां, deluding mohamayim pramadamadiram, the liquor of inattention, of delusion, the liquor of delusion, drinking the liquor of delusion, unmatta bhutam jagat. The whole world is dancing like mad, madness everywhere. This is Vairagya Shatakam of Bhartrihari, who was a king. Next verse. Duramete viparite vishuchi.
दूरमेते विपरीते विशूचि
Avidyaya cha vidyeti jnata.
अविद्याया च विद्येति ज्ञाता
Vidyabhipsinam nachiketasam manye.
विद्याभीप्सिनं नचिकेतसं मन्ये
Natva kama bahavo alolupanta.
नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त.
He says, Duramete viparite vishuchi. That means this Shreyas and Preyas, or you can say the Shreyas and Preyas, with which he started, they are absolutely different from each other. Not only that, in their result also are different. Vishuchi means in their result, phala also absolutely different. Avidya yacha vidyeti jnata. One is avidya, that is prayas comes from avidya, and shreyas is vidya. Actually here he is saying duramete viparite vishuchi, they are referring to the avidya and vidya. Avidya means the ignorance, and vidya means the knowledge of the truth, which will deal with the ignorance and remove the ignorance for the truth. When the vidya removes the avidya, then the truth shines, which is inexpressible. That vidya is necessary to remove the avidya. Finally, vidya, avidya both together will take us, vidya removing the avidya will take us to the transcendental level, which is beyond all such duality. It is non-dual position. So he says that in their phala also it is different. Why they are categorizing like this, that they are different and their result also they are different? Because there is a tendency in the sadhak that to take both together. They want part of spirituality and part of the worldly enjoyment also. There is nothing wrong, you can take, but for a seeker of truth it cannot be accepted. Because as long as you are under the hold of the worldly likes and dislikes, then you cannot transcend. So for a seeker, one has to completely reject. But that does not mean that you have to go to the cave. It is not like that. You can remain in the world in the same manner also, provided you can be free of the ragadvesha. The vishadantam, the two poisonous teeth are ragadvesha. If we can win over the ragadvesha, then ragadvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyeshcharan atmavashyair vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. He remains under the discipline given by the Atma, remains anchored in the Atma, not slave to the worldly things. All the world, everything remains, but he no longer is a slave to the worldly attraction and repulsion. There comes the difference. Normally, avidya, we say that avidya has got two powers. One is called the avarana, another is vikshepa. Avarana means it is the covering our real identity. That I am the one singular transcendental universal soul, that is covered. I become limited by the body-mind association, I become separate from the entire universe. So the moment I become separated from the entire universe, the raga, dvesha and running after what I like, running away from what I dislike, all these starts. So the vikshepa means the distraction of the mind starts. So avidya has got two powers. One is to cover the reality, and the moment the reality is covered, it starts attracting and repelling us, that vikshepa. With these two powers, it puts us into karma. First, desire, that I have something different from me to run after or to run away from. So that causes desires to sprout in our mind, and that puts us into desire motivated activity. This is the sequence generally our Shastras speak about. Vidyabhipsinam nachiketasam manye natva kama bahavo alolupanta. He says that I consider Nachiketa to be Vidyabhipsi, that is a seeker of Vidya. Yamaraja is saying that I consider Nachiketa to be a seeker of Vidya, not of Avidya, not under the Avidya. Why? Natva kama bahavaha alolupanta. That all these so many multifarious desired things, objects, desireful objects, which are people are immersed in it, that could not allure you. So it means that when the seeker is not allured by anything in the world, forget about the great money, wealth, building, fame and all. I am saying that even in an ashram setup also where nothing such things are there, even then also some little praise, some little appreciation or some putting into this or that, that also they are alluring us. So it is not only in a big manner, in a small manner, in a subtle manner also, that is what is spoiling our mind. So he says that I tried with everything, nothing could allure your mind. So definitely I consider Nachiketa to be a seeker of Vidya, not under the sway of Avidya. Avidyayamantare vartamanaha
avidyayamantare vartamanaha
swayam dhira panditam manyamanaha
swayam dhira panditam manyamanaha
dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha
dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha
andhenaiva niyamana yathandhaha
andhenaiva niyamana yathandhaha. This
is a very oft quoted verse, and it has the same verse appears in Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.8 also. And not only that, in Mundaka Upanishad there is another, the following verse also is like this, similar, with a little more of exposition, that avidyayam bahudha vartamanaha, like that it goes. It says that avidyayam antare vartamanaha swayam dhiraha panditam manyamanaha. The aim in the subject matter of this is two. One is they are referring to the karma kandis like Jaimini and other Purva Mimamsa, that they consider that yaga, jajna and karma rituals, they are all, and there is nothing called jnana, that self-realization or knowledge which gives Jivan Mukti. Those are all Arthavada. I said Arthavada means eulogies. They are really not there. Actually, what they call is, in Purva Mimamsa, they call Vedanta as Kakadanta Pariksha. Kakadanta Pariksha. That means crows do not have teeth. So I want to investigate, does this crow has a teeth? You investigate, finally which is not there. You spend all the time in investigating, going into it, you use microscope and whatever you want, and finally the truth is not there. Like that they say that you are investigating for the Atma. It's nothing. Finally you don't find anything there. That is not there. Atma means that realization of the Atma, whatever you are looking for. They don't refute Atma, but there is nothing called realization of the soul like that. That Vedantic result of Brahmatmaikatva Bodha is the Vedantic, that we start from Dehatma Bodha. That is, I consider I am limited by the body-mind personality. That is called Dehatma Bodha. And the ultimate of Vedantic knowledge is Brahma Atma Ekatva Bodha. Brahmatma Ekatva Bodha. That is, whatever I am thinking as I am, that I gets merged into the universal I, the transcendental I, which is the Brahman. So there is nothing like that we are looking for that. That is what the Karmakandis will say. So they have repeatedly, as I said yesterday also, Karmakanda has been criticized in Bhagavad Gita, in Mundaka Upanishad, here also. But criticizing means not that they are saying that it is not there, you should not do it. They are only saying that their problem is, they say this is all and there is nothing beyond. There lies the trouble. One should get promoted from there to the knowledge. It is just like saying that beyond school there is nothing. I will remain always in class 7, like that. Janghanyamana. In the other one it is Janghanyamana. Dandramyamana means absolutely erratic random motion. And Janghanyamana means through suffering, all kinds of suffering. The other shloka is Bahudha Vartamana. That means not in one way. See, in truth it is in one way only. But in ignorance, in various kinds of delusion, it is infinite variety. So Bahudha Vartamana. In Mundaka there are two like that. He says, that is one, is the Karmakanda, criticism of the Karmakanda. Otherwise, it is also criticism of the materialist viewpoint also. Those who say that, oh, there is nothing like that, or even saying that there is no point in going now, only after you don't get any more re-employment, you should think of it, you should not think of it at all those things. When we were leaving Kharagpur, we were about to join the ashram, leaving our things. So naturally we had to dispose of our furniture. So some people were coming and seeing that they would take or not. So one lady, she was a writer. She is perhaps now, I don't know. She was a writer. She had come and looked into the furniture, whatever was there and all. Then looked at us and said that, who are the people who are leaving and joining the ashram? I would like to see them also. Not only the furniture, but like to see the people who are leaving the furniture. I said, we are leaving. What? It was a great shock to her. Are you sure? Is it not your parents? Then she started so much of lecturing that you should think again, you are doing an absolutely wrong thing. I find that you are living with so much of love and all, the furniture, everything is absolutely clean, you have not neglected anything. Everything shows that you are living a very good householder life, and you are not, somebody must have spoilt your mind, you are living, you should think again. When she could not convince us, finally said that I will watch your life. Wherever you are, I will keep watch and I will see whether you come back or not. So, people have their own way of instructing. They think that their ideas are the best and it is all wasteful. Whatever why these people are running to CIRD every evening? We could do so many things. They don't have any work, that is why they are going. They will say like that. So, avidyayam antare vartamanaha. It is not just avidyayam vartamana. Antare, why they have said? Completely immersed. Suppose avidya is up to this and you can raise your head from the water. Then you know that there is something called air and openness and all. But if your head is also within the water, then you will not know that there is some relief or anything. So, avidyayam antare vartamanaha. They are completely immersed, nimajjanti. Swayam dhiraha panditam manyamanaha. They considered themselves to be the dhiraha and the pandita. They considered themselves to be scholarly and very wise, self-certificating as wise. Dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha andhena iva niyamana yathandhaha. What is their motion? You have to find out from there how are their activities. Dandramyamanaha. It is erratic, absolutely erratic, like random motion. We call it Brownian motion in the liquid. Like this it goes. That is, what is the aim of his activity? Nobody will know. Running from here to there to here, and again like this, like that going on. Not only that, pariyanti. It is a cyclical motion. This is very important. Cyclic motion means there is no growth, there is no unfoldment. See, this is true of the yaga jajna also. It is a cyclic motion that I am doing this yaga, next life I will begin sarga, again next to next life I will come back, and it is always a cyclical process. They are not having an evolution towards an ultimate truth. So, in the life we should always look that every day is a promotion, it is a growth, we are moving towards something, there is an unfoldment, there is a newer horizon opening up. That is what makes the life auspicious, that we are going towards the truth. Whereas in this case it is a monotonous, stale life of round and round and round in the same manner, going again and again, doing the same thing from morning to evening and coming. There is no growth. Outside you may do the same thing again and again, that is everywhere so. But in the mind should flower forth, it should evolve, it should grow to higher and higher dimensions. So, Dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha, they are fools, their motion is not only erratic, random, but also circular. There is no progression anywhere towards the truth. Andhena iva niyamana yathandha, as if a band of blind people are led by another blind. Andhena iva niyamana yathandha, not by a seeing person. Why they have said this? Because such persons, Panditam Manyamana, they are leading also others. They are instructing others, you are doing it's absolutely nonsense, don't do this, do yaga. Vedanta has no meaning at all, it is Kakadanta Pariksha. They are sermoning others also. So it is they are themselves blind, they are leading other people also to the same ditch where he is going to fall. And actually if you think, the probability of falling is more. If one blind person walks alone, only when he comes to a ditch he will fall. But there is a number of blind people. If one falls into the ditch, all others also will be falling into. The probability of falling into the ditch is more in that case. Avidyayam antare vartamanaha,
avidyayam antare vartamanaha,
swayam dhira panditam manyamanaha,
swayam dhira panditam manyamanaha,
dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha,
dandramyamanaha pariyanti mudhaha,
andhenaiva niyamana yathandhaha,
andhenaiva niyamana yathandhaha,
न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालम्,
न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालम्,
प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम्,
प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम्,
अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानि,
अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानि,
पुनः पुनर्वशमापद्यते मे,
पुनः पुनर्वशमापद्यते मे.
He says they are like children. Bala means they are immature intelligence. So the samparaya na pratibhati. So this is actually referring to the Charvakas basically. Charvaka, you know, Charvaka means those days also we had the materialist philosophers who will say that when the body falls, everything gets mixed with the earth and there is nothing transcending the body at all. And they will always give, even they will give instructions opposite to the moral code. You must have heard about Rinam Kritva Ghritam Pivet Yavat Jivet Sukham Jivet. As long as you live very happily. If necessary, borrow money and drink enough of ghee, which is costly. So they are materialist philosophers. But in our ancient times, you will find from all the Shastras that Charvakas also were, when there is an argument going on or some discussion or sabha going on, there would be a seat for the Charvaka, who will put forward all the materialist argument. Because without that, the truth will not be established. So they had their role of always contradicting whatever is happening. Even when the team of Bharata went to bring back Rama by convincing him to, what is that? Dandakaranya. There also, they carried, in that group also there was a Charvaka, the name Jabali. He was the Charvaka there, who instructed everything, that what are you doing? Your father's word. What is the meaning in your father's word? The children are born only out of the sense enjoyment of the father and the mother and all those things, that there is no morality involved anywhere at all. You are unnecessarily thinking of your father's word. There should not be any particular respect to your father. That kind of statements also are there. In Ramayana, it is all there. Then Rama will cut off all his arguments. He will speak against his arguments like that. So he said that they don't consider anything beyond this material existence, the gross existence. They don't find anything sukshma, anything subtle, anything transcendental. They don't know of it, they don't accept it. Pramadyantam vitta mohena mudham. Why? They are all inattentive about it, because they are all drank the pramada madira. That they are all deluded with the wealth they have. Vitta mohena. They are deluded by the wealth and property and material gains. Ayam lokaha. This is the only life and there is nothing beyond. Nasti para iti mani. There is nothing beyond at all. Punah punar vashama apadyate me. Because they don't accept it, they always remain with the small, changeful, perishable things. So they repeatedly come under my hold. Because Yamaraja is the lord of Mrityu. Mrityu means any changeful thing, the cause dies, the effect is born. So surrounding us, if we are only holding on to perishable things, we are surrounded by Mrityu. So they are repeatedly coming in my clutch, Yamaraja is saying, because they have only faith in the perishable things, nothing beyond. This also is comparable to a Bhagavad Gita verse of 2.29. Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah.
Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah.
Shrinvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu.
Shrinvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu.
Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhaha.
Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhaha.
Ascharyo jnata kushalanusishtaha.
Ascharyo jnata kushalanusishtaha.
Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah.
Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah.
Shrinvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu.
Shrinvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu.
Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhaha.
Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhaha.
Ascharyo jnata kushalanusishtaha.
Ascharyo jnata kushalanusishtaha.
Now Yamaraja is praising this vidya, this knowledge. He says, Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah, which is not easily to be heard. Now there are a lot of lectures all over the world going on. Those days, Upanishadic truth will be rarely heard in special situations. It was not available. They will not speak to people who are not having enough of sadhana chatushtaya. This kind of hall lectures were not there. But there were lectures, as Kathopanishad itself says, that this should be read out in Shraddha Sabha and Brahmana Sabha. So in the end of the first section of Kathopanishad, it is said that this should be read out in the Shraddha Sabha and Brahmana Sabha. Why Brahmana Sabha? Because Brahmanas were given to Karma Kanda. So while the Yaga Jajna is going on, if this is read, it will be a bit of jnana introduced in them and some of them will be taking to it. And Shraddha Sabha, because it is dealing with the question of death, what happens after death. So when somebody has died or we are doing some Antyeshti Kriya or so, then we are interested in knowing what happened to my beloved who has died. So we are interested in the transcendental knowledge, what happens when the body falls. So that is the time they will listen to it. So some truth can be infused into the society. That was the idea. So he says that Shravanayapi bahubhiryo na labhyah. It is not easily available to be listened to. Shrinvantopi bahavo yam na vidyuhu. Even if people listen to, seldom anybody will be able to understand the truth which is being communicated. Ascharyo vakta kushalosya labdhaha. It is Ashcharya means rare, wonderful, rare. Is the bhakta, is the expositor, is the speaker, expounder. Wonderful is the expounder, or rare is the expounder. And also kushalaha asya labdha. Even a proper recipient of this also is extremely rare. Asya labdha means one who can receive, grasp it. That is also rare. Ashcharyo jnata kushalanusishtaha. Still rarer is the jnata, the knower of this truth, who has been instructed properly by an efficient teacher. See how the lineage is brought in. Kushala anushishtaha. Kushalanushishtaha. Anushishtaha means following a discipline. The discipline will be given by the teacher. So even a knower also, a knower who has been traditionally given, has been trained and taught by a teacher, who has been taught by his teacher also. So you can easily extend to the ultimate, that every time it has been coming down from a teacher, prophet, undergoing a proper training. Because of that, Nachiketa in the first question he said that etad vidyam anushishtastvayaham. I would like to know it by following the discipline given by you, O Yamaraja. These words are very important. If it is not kushalanusishta, there will be deviations and variations which will not have the wholesome auspicious effect of the Shastras that they have given. They have not only thought of the individuals, but of the whole society, so that the civilization is sustained. So anybody going out of that, they will miss here or there. It has happened also in our country. Many things have been propagated and it doesn't live long, it goes of course, but in a short time it creates some other waves also. 8th verse, next verse. Nanarena varena proktaesha
Nanarena prokta esha
suvijñeyo bahudha chintyamanaha
suvijñeyo bahudha chintayanaha
ananya prokte gatiratra nasti
ananya prokte gatirantra nasti
aniyan hyatarkyam anupramanat
Aniyan hyatarkyamanu pramanat
nanarena varena prokta esha
Nanarena varena prokta esha
suvijñeyo bahudha chintyamanaha
Suvijñeyo bahudha chintyamanaha
ananya prokte gatiratra nasti
Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti
aniyan hyatarkyam anupramanat.
Aniyan hyatarkyamanu pramanat.
See, he says the na narena avarena prokta eshaha subijñeya bhavati. Eshaha bahudha chintamanaha. This truth, it is bahudha chintamanaha, means it is thought of in various manner, as Nachiketa has put right in the beginning, asti, nasti, whether it is there, it is not there, or whether it is one, it goes from body to body, or it is the one transcendental. So many ways Atma, the truth about our soul, is thought of. Bahudha chintyamanaha. He says that subijñeyo na subijñeyo bhavati. It does not become well understood when na narena avarena proktaha. When it is spoken of by avara, nara. That means a person who has not realized. Vara means Shrestha, who has realized. If it is spoken of just by the scholarliness of a person who has not realized, then it will remain bahudha chintyamanaha. Your questions will not be, they will give lot of arguments. If you ask so many arguments, they will make, but your question will remain. Na narena avarena proktaha suvijñeyam bhavati. Then ananya prokte bahudha chintyamanaha gatihi atra nasti. Ananya prokte. This Ananya, often we have the name. Ananya means unparalleled. We say that there is no comparison with that. We give the name Ananya. Here also it is that, but in a much subtler sense. Ananya means for whom there is no Anya. No Anya means he has realized the self which is all, everything, Purna. So for him there is nothing different from himself. He is the whole universe appearing in his own consciousness. That means one who has understood the real identity, universal identity, such a person is called Ananya. It is not just spoken by a great person who is Ananya, means unparalleled person. No, there could be 20-25 people also who have realized. They are all Ananya in the sense that for their identity there is no second. They have identified themselves with the universal Atma. So they are Ananyas. Ananya Prokta, a person who has realized the real identity, when he explains this Bahudha Tintyamanaha Gatihi Atra Nasti, this multiple way of thinking and all, they will be dissolved. They will not be there. So the understanding will be full and complete. Why? He atarkyam anupramanat aniyan. Anupramanat aniyan, comparative statement. That is, even if you think of a very subtle object, it is even subtler than that. He atarkyam, that means it cannot be established by tarka, argument. Those who have not realized, they will try to establish by various kinds of arguments. In Vedanta also we have lots of arguments. In MA course of Vedanta we will read all the Nyaya, Darshana and all. They will establish with lot of arguments. But a professor in the MA course, he is not a sadhak, he may not be a sadhak, he might not have realized also. But he is a scholarly person who knows all the Vedas and so, all the scriptures maybe. But the real truth will never be clear when it is explained through such arguments and vaikhari, by the verbosity. It will not be understood. Because it is anupramanat aniyan. It is even subtler than the anu. The sukshma, if anything you think, it is subtler than that. Why? Because anything we call it that the air is subtler than water, space is subtler than air. They are all in the field of object, in the objective ken. Whatever examples we take, that is all in the objectude. But this consciousness is not in the objective ken at all. This subtlety is not an objective subtlety that you can compare with anything. Do you understand? Material subtlety, you can say, the air is subtler than the table, the space is subtler than air, or time is subtler than air. Like that you can say. But this is something about the consciousness which is expressing, which is revealing the subtle as well as gross, which is revealing the gross stable as well as the subtle thoughts. So this subtlety is something transcendental subtlety. So any amount of subtle you go with your thinking and buddhi and arguments, it is beyond that, because it is transcending that. It is the revealer of all those arguments, the conscious. Do you get it? Nanarena varena prokta eshaha.
Nanarena varena prokta eshaha.
Suvijñeyo bahudha chintyamanaha.
Suvijñeyo bahudha chintyamanaha.
Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti.
Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti.
Aniyan hyatarkyamanupramanat.
Aniyan hyatarkyamanupramanat.
Next. Naisha tarkena matirapaneya.
Naisha tarkena matirapaneya.
Proktanyenaiva sujnanaya preshtha.
Proktanyenaiva sujnanaya preshtha.
Naisha tarkena matirapaneya.
Naisha tarkena matirapaneya.
Proktanyenaiva sujnanaya preshtha.
प्रोक्तान्येनैव सुज्ञानाय प्रेष्ठा
यां त्वमापः सत्यधृतिर्वतासि
यां त्वमापः सत्यधृतिर्वतासि
त्वादृङ्नो भूयान्नचिकेतः पृष्टा.
त्वादृङ्नो भूयान्नचिकेतः पृष्टा.
So the Yama is referring to Nachiketa as Preshtha. Preshtha means Priyatama. He has become so fond of Nachiketa that he is calling him as Priyatama, Preshtha. Oh Preshtha Nachiketa. Naisha tarkena matirapaneya. This can be interpreted in two ways. One is that na esha matihi tarkena apaneya. Or na esha matihi tarkena apaneya. Both are okay. That is, one is that this mati which you have got, mati means this, the mindset or the intelligence you have got, it cannot be attained just by argument, tarka. That you have got a mindset which is naturally given to this transcendental truth, which has been proved already. I have analyzed all his behavior and all. He is naturally, he has the aspiration for the self. Whatever the self represents, whatever qualities, he aspires for that. It's a natural aspiration, and his unfoldment of the self-realization is natural. He will naturally progress towards that. This kind of a mindset cannot be attained just by argumentative method, by arguments and all. This buddhi you have, the sukshma buddhi, not only sukshma, it is shuddha buddhi. Sukshma buddhi you can have by scientific arguments and all, but the shuddha buddhi will not be there. You understand the difference? Shuddha buddhi means when the buddhi is not tarnished by desires, by material desires. So although the buddhi might be very subtle, very sukshma, but it has to become pure by removing the desire. Then only it will be able to see the truth clearly, otherwise the truth will be covered. So this cannot be attained by tarka. Another meaning is that it should not be lost by tarka. That, oh Nachiketa, if you are given to too much of argument, then you will lose this. Both ways it is true. That if you go after argument and shastra and scholarliness, then it will become shabdajalam maharanyam chitta brahmana karanam vaidushyam vidusham tadvad bhuktaye natu muktaye. Shabdajalam maharanyam, this whole Vedanta is Shabdajalam maharanyam. It is a network, it's a deep forest of words and words. Chitta brahmana karanam or karakam, something, which is only deluding the mind with so much of argument, so much of examples, this and that, the mind will get more and more deluded. Vaidushyam vidusham tadvat. For the scholarly people, their Vaidushyam means their scholarliness. Bhuktaye natu muktaye. It is a bhoga, that they enjoy their scholarliness. I am a very scholarly person. I will give 5 interpretations, 15 interpretations. If others have given 1, then I will give 10. So that is for bhoga, not for moksha. Bhuktaye natu muktaye. So you should not lose this temperament, this mindset you have got, the intelligence you have got. You should not lose by getting into the arguments. Prokta anyenaiva sujnanaya preshtha. O Priyatama, O Preshtha. This becomes sujnanaya. It becomes very well received and absorbed and understood when it is explained by another. That means with your intelligence, with your sukshmata, shuddhata and everything, you should not become egoistic. You should become humble. You should keep your humility. This knowledge has to be acquired from another. You have to get it from a teacher. If you think that I am, because he is praising and praising, the disciple may now fly into the sky that, oh, then I can get it easily like that. He is disciplining him. That it has to be, it becomes very well understood when it is explained to you by another knower, by the teacher knower, not teacher. Then it becomes sujnanaya preshtha, sujnanaya. Prokta anyenaiva. When another person explains, then yam tvamapa satya dhritirvatasi tvadiring no bhuya nachiketa prashta. Oh Nachiketa, like you, more and more seekers come to us, he is saying Yamaraja. So Yamaraja was also not having any seekers to listen to him. In Upanishad also it is there that calling that Ano Brahmachari, all the Brahmacharis, good Brahmacharis, pure Brahmacharis, they come to us, like that, these are there. Similarly, Ramakrishna Deva used to go to the rooftop and used to call that, where are the Brahmacharis, where from you will come, where are they, come, like that, because they feel lonely without a proper people to whom they can give it and whom they can deliver, whom they can give the next generation. So he says that Twadring no bhuyad Nachiketa prashta. Prashta means the enquirer. More and more enquirer like you come to us, O Nachiketa. Yam tvam satyadhritirvatasi. The dhriti you have got. Apaha means you have got, you have attained. The satyadhriti. It is a satyadhriti. Satyadhriti means when the truth is told, he will be able to retain the truth very well. I have explained last year that this dhriti, in 18th chapter you will find Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika, this dhriti is there. Buddhi also Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika is there. Now this reception, a teacher can explain to you very well, giving you and try to communicate. You may understand also. You may, in the presence of the teacher, you will grasp the truth also. But when you go in isolation, you will find that you have lost it. This is a very common experience with all. Become humble and receptive. And you are explained the truth is communicated, you have grasped it. But to retain the truth, you have to have your own sadhana. The dhriti has to become very sattvic. How will the dhriti become sattvic? By all sattvika, ahara and vihara, that you have to make your habits sattvic, your food sattvic, your vision, everything. Your whatever you are reading, whatever we are analyzing, everything sattvic. By constant sattvic inputs, the dhriti becomes sattvika. Then that dhriti can hold the truth easily. So that dhriti depends on sadhana, that the teacher cannot give. Teacher can prescribe the practice, but unless you practice and you develop your dhriti, the teacher cannot do. Teacher will explain and give you he can make you understand, but that understanding will not remain, it will go. So he is saying, Nachiketa, you are a satya dhriti. That means if I tell you the truth, you will be able to retain it. That's a great quality of a seeker. Yam tvamapa satya dhritirvatasi tvandring no bhuyan Nachiketa prashta. This kind of satya dhriti enquirer may come to us. Janamyaham shevadhiritya nityam.
Janamyaham shevadhiritya nityam.
Na hyadhruvaihi prapyate hi dhruvam tat.
Na hyadhruvaihi prapyate hi dhruvam tat.
Tato maya nachiketoshchitogni.
Tato nachiketaschitognihi.
Anityairdravyaihi praptavanasmi nityam.
Anityairdravyaihi praptavanasmi nityam.
Janamyaham shevadhiritya nityam.
Janamyaham shevadhiritya nityam.
Na hyadhruvaihi prapyate hi dhruvam tat.
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 Tato maya nachiketaschitognihi.
Tato maya nachiketaschitognihi.
Anityairdravyaihi praptavanasmi nityam.
Anityairdravyaihi praptavanasmi nityam.
He says that, Yamaraja says that, I know that, oh Nachiketa, you have rejected all the transient things and you have opted for this. I know that this dhruva means unchanging, cannot be attained by anything adhruva. That is, all these chariots, dances, or whatever, that this phala in this life or other life, they are all adhruva means impermanent. The permanent cannot be attained by anything impermanent, because all the impermanence as the cause within the cause and effect chain. Some impermanent will die, another impermanent will be born. Anything that is born will die. The ken of impermanence is always they are under the cause and effect chain. So no dhruva permanent cannot be attained by this causality. To go to the permanent or the nityavastu or the truth, we have to transcend causality. It is beyond causality. It is transcending causality. I know it. Yamaraja says, I know it. Because why? Nachiketa has already given Upadesha to Yamaraja that Shobhava Matyasya Yadanta Kaitata and all. So Yamaraja is saying that I know that it cannot be obtained. But even then, O Nachiketa, I have performed this Agni Vidya, Nachiketas Chitogni. I have performed that yaga, and through that I have got this position of Yamaraja. This is like a Yamaraja's position, that like Brahma's position also. That is also anitya. Any position is anitya. Any srishti, either in the world or in the other world, everything is anitya. He says that I know that the permanent cannot be attained by impermanent. But even then I performed this yaga and has attained this position of Yamaraja. That means, oh Nachiketa, you are higher than me. You have rejected that also. I had given you the position of Brahma, that you live as long as you want, have the entire world as your property. That means the creator Brahma. But you have rejected that position also. That is what a seeker is supposed to do. Even we say that from Brahma to the blade of grass, everything a seeker has to take as tuchha, as reject. From the blade of grass to the position of Hiranyagarbha or Brahma, the whole creator, that should not be able to delude him if you want the truth. So Nachiketa, you have rejected everything, but I could not. That is why I have got bound to this Yamaraja's position. He is humbly telling his disciple. Praptavan asmi nityam. Nityam means here it's a semi-permanent. It is not a permanent position. He is using the nityam word in a semi-permanent. It's longer than the other anything we attain. Kamasyaptim jagatah pratishtham.
Syaptim jagatah pratishtham.
So we'll read once more this. Janamyaham shevadhiritya nityam.
Nityam.
Nahyadhruvaih prapyate hidhruvam tat.
Nahyadhruvaih prapyate hidhruvam tat.
Tato maya nachiketaschitognihi.
Tato maya nachiketaschitognihi.
Anityairdravyaih praptavanasmi nityam.
Anityairdravyaih praptavanasmi nityam.
Why anityairdravyaih? Because in the yaga jajna, whatever you need, all the material things, they are all anitya. Through that, dhruva cannot be obtained, but this temporarily permanent, that is a longer period pada, I have attained because of that. Meaning that, oh Nachiketa, you have rejected that also.